a major mix-up in Peel. Over a dozen people were mailed negative COVID-19 results when they had actually tested positive. Peel Public Health says the mistake was fixed quickly.
680 News Time, 8:43.
My name is Aaron Waxman, and in times of uncertainty...
Stepping down on his stance to stop all medical supplies from being shipped to Canada. He's ordered all American manufacturers producing crucial items for healthcare workers to keep the products in the country and stop exporting them to other places. And the numbers are out. The provincial projections for just how bad this virus can get have been released, and the results are not promising for Ontario.
Or if people are gathering in groups, and they'll be issued tickets starting at $750.
Crombie says people have to get the message, think of others, and stop being selfish. I'm Momin Qureshi.
Despite the coronavirus pandemic, the presidential election is still happening in the U.S. The Wisconsin primary is on Tuesday, but don't expect results to start coming in for a week after that. ABC's Ryan Burrow explains.
A federal judge in Wisconsin ruled clerks can't release unofficial election results until April 13th, which is the new deadline for absentee ballots to be received by the state. The application deadline for absentee ballots for Tuesday's primary was pushed back to Friday. State leaders are hoping more people opt for mail-in ballots and try to vote in person Tuesday when polling locations will have minimal staff. Ryan Burrow, ABC News.
Britain's Prime Minister is urging people to continue to stay indoors amid this pandemic. Prime Minister Minister Boris Johnson says staying home protects the public as well as members of Britain's National Health Service.
Let's focus on doing everything we can. Stay at home, folks. Protect our NHS. Save lives.
Johnson tested positive for the virus on March 26th, and he will remain in quarantine until his temperature returns to normal. Food security is a top of mind for many as the pandemic continues. 680's Faith Kaiser found out just how strong Canada's supply chains are.
Overall, the staples will remain in stores, but some items may find difficulty.
Thanks, everybody. You're so kind and polite.
tale of a boss who asks his staff to interact over Zoom all day.
Gotta build those condos.
Ford reacting to those modeling numbers.
If this doesn't give a wake-up call to people, I don't know what does.
The government closing down more businesses and industry.
The White House doubling down its demand of 3M to stop sending N95 masks to Canada and Latin America. This following the Premier and Prime Minister condemning the move. The City of Toronto is losing an estimated $65 million a week due to the COVID-19 crisis. This because of things like less riders on the TTC.
And more than 100 zoo employees are being laid off because of the ongoing pandemic.
The Basketball Hall of Fame is expected to announce the induction of the late Kobe Bryant. Sports at 15.
Money losing Friday on the markets. The TSX giving back 159 points. And Corona beer temporarily going out of production because of the coronavirus. Business at 26.
680 News Time, 9:01.
Traffic and weather together on the one. Kyle Hawking.
At 11:59 p.m., all industrial construction except critical industrial projects will stop. Only necessary infrastructure projects like hospitals and transportation will continue.
Grocery stores and pharmacies, they remain fully open. But moving now to delivery or curbside pickup only are stores that sell hardware products, pet and animal supplies, vehicle parts, office supplies, computer products, and safety supplies. And only online sales of cannabis will be permitted in Ontario. Premier Doug Ford says he will trust the people of this province to write the last chapter in the story of this crisis.
If this doesn't give a wake-up call to people, I don't know what does.
Check out our station's website for the updated list of the retail changes. I'm Mark Douglas.
Well, experts say the COVID-19 pandemic could last anywhere between 18 months and 2 years. But what remains crucial, according to Dr. Peter Donnelly, the CEO of Public Health Ontario, is that everyone continues to follow the recommendations from health officials.
We could reduce the death toll in Ontario to somewhere between 3,000 and 15,000.
That is the best case scenario. Given the current measures, officials say had Ontario done nothing, the death toll over the same time frame could have reached 100,000. Even the best case scenario numbers are still grim, though. Experts are predicting by the end of April, Ontario will reach 1,600 deaths with 80,000 cases. And during that time, we could also reach capacity for our ICU beds and need about 900 more. As of today, across the province, 14 new deaths brought the total number of fatalities to 67, while 462 new cases took the province's count above 3,200.
Well, masks and ventilators are among the most sought-after items in the world right now, but President Trump says American companies should not be exporting crucial medical supplies to countries like Canada. 680's Michelle Mackey now joins us with the latest as the number of cases and deaths in the U.S. continues to skyrocket. President Trump is upping the ante, invoking the Defense Production Act against PPE exports.
We'll work with FEMA to prevent the export of N95 respirators, surgical masks, gloves, and other personal protective equipment.
It's a move condemned by Ontario Premier Doug Ford.
Never again in the history of Canada should we ever be beholden to companies around the world or countries around the world for the safety and well-being of the people of Canada.
Ford says there's nothing we can't build right here in Ontario. Trump's announcement comes as the U.S. reports its highest single-day death toll. There are now more than 7,000 deaths and at least 270,000 cases of COVID-19 in the United States. I'm Michelle Mackey.
Here with All News Radio 680 News at 9:06. Mayor John Tory says the city is losing millions of dollars each and every week that the COVID-19 crisis continues. But as 680's Phil Martino reports, a team has been put together to address Toronto's financial concerns. She joins us live with more. Phil.
Scott, there are fewer people taking the TTC. There's also less money coming in because of closures, decreased demands, and property tax and utility payment deferrals. There are increased costs stemming from COVID-19 related needs like more personal protective equipment and additional shelter space. Put them all together, and that spells big losses for the city of Toronto.
We're experiencing a financial pressure estimated at $65 million each and every week that this crisis goes on.
That's Mayor John Tory. He says a financial impact group has been formed and it will focus on stabilization and rebuilding. He asked the city's focus is to maintain services, and he says the city won't be asking people to pay more in taxes. So Martino, 680 News.
Well, getting caught ignoring the physical distancing directive from public health officials in Toronto, and you just might be out of a lot of cash. Mayor John Tory says the fine is being boosted beyond the original $750 amount.
We have received approval to impose a $1,000 set fine for conviction under that bylaw. The maximum the courts could give us when we ask them for a set fine. And it's for anybody caught in a park or public square standing less than 2 meters from someone they don't live with.
Mayor Tory says the city's experiencing a financial pressure of $65 million each and every week as this crisis goes on. He says it's driven by reduced TTC revenues as well as increased costs to help people who are struggling financially. The city's assembled a COVID-19 financial working group to help address the situation. The group will focus on stabilization and rebuilding.
The Toronto Zoo temporarily laying off 118 people because of the pandemic. The zoo has been closed since March 13th and will stay that way until at least the falls. They will not protect you from getting COVID-19. We here at 680 News would like to remind our listeners of the best places to find information about the virus are Public Health Canada, the World Health Organization, and of course just listen here right on 680 News. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll recap your top stories.